Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows? Only time. And who can say if your love grows as your heart shows? Only time.
Good morning, and welcome back to history class. Hope you had a good weekend. Well, we've been talking about the Roman Empire, haven't we? Yes, we have been. Good for remembering that. Last week, we talked about how the nephew of Julius Caesar, a man named Octavian, became the first emperor of Rome, Caesar Augustus. And it was while he was emperor that Jesus came to earth. And he was born during Caesar Augustus's reign as emperor. He grew up, he lived, he died, he came back to life, and now he is in heaven getting it ready for his Christians. Well, the people that Jesus left behind, his disciples, they started the church, the Iglesia. Remember, we said when we talk about the church, we don't just mean the building, the church. We mean all the Christians in the world. All the Christians in the world belong to the same church. Did you know that? Yes, they do. Okay. Christians, the disciples told people, and they told people, and they told people, and they told people, until Christianity was spreading all over Israel. That was a problem. It wasn't a problem for people. It was good for people to hear about the gospel, but it was a problem for the Roman Empire. Why? Because the Roman Empire, one of the things that it depended on was its gods. Remember, we said the Roman Empire had lots of gods. And they said that they believed that they got their strength from the gods. You make the gods happy and they'll help you. Well, now here come these Christians who are telling people about this new God, this God that says, I'm the only God there is, this God that says, instead of fighting each other, we should love each other, this God that says you need to stop worshiping the Roman gods and worship the one true God. And the Romans started to say, this new religion is a problem. We need to stamp it out. And so what happened was the Roman emperors tried to stop people from believing in Jesus. But you know what happened? What happened is they would send in their soldiers or whatever to stop people from believing in Jesus. Do you know what happened? Those Christians would leave. And they would go other places. And because the Roman Empire was so big, there were loads of other places for them to go and tell people about Jesus. That's why Jesus waited until Rome was in charge of earth to come down and visit it, so that the most people could hear about it. Now, for a while, the Romans and the Christians, they didn't get along very well, but they didn't do anything too bad to them until this guy came in charge. This guy became the new emperor of Rome. This was Nero. Nero Caesar. Nero Caesar was an absolute monster. He was. This guy killed anybody who did not agree with him, including his mother. Some people say that he killed his wife by jumping up and down on her. But this guy was an absolute monster. Even so, he might have left the Christians alone until one day when the city of Rome caught fire. The city of Rome caught fire, and a lot of it burned down. And some of Nero's enemies were saying, hey, you know who started this fire? Nero started it. Nero started this fire so he could build up Rome the way he wants it to be built up. And Nero said, uh-oh, I got a problem now. If people start believing it, they might rebel against me. I have to find somebody to blame for this fire. Somebody to blame for causing trouble in the Roman Empire. Guess who he picked? He picked the Christians. How did Nero know about the Christians, though? Well, do you guys know who the Apostle Paul is? El Apóstol Pablo? Yes, he went to Rome, and he told Nero about Jesus. And after he was done telling Nero about Jesus, know what Nero did? He had Paul's head cut off. Yes, he did. Nero was not a nice guy. And then he said, okay, the Christians are the ones who are causing all these problems. We need to destroy the Christians. And so he said, if you find a Christian, you give them one chance, a chance to say, I'm going to stop being a Christian and start worshiping the Roman gods again. If they take it, fine. If they don't take it, kill them. This is known in Christian history as the first great persecution of the Christians. There were 10 times during the Roman Empire where an emperor would come to power and make it his business to destroy the Christians. And Nero was the first. He hated the Christians. He would do all sorts of horrible, horrible things to them. You guys remember the gladiator games? Well, he would send Christians in there to be killed by the gladiators. Or he would send them in there and let some lions come out and tear them apart and eat them for everybody could see. Or, the worst thing is, he would take these Christians, tie them to poles, and set them on fire and use them as lamps. This guy was a terrible, terrible, terrible monster. So what happened to him at the end? Well, like I said, he was a monster. And the Christians certainly didn't like him, but his own people didn't like him either. It got to the point where his people said, we have to destroy him. So the Senate, the Roman Senate, said, we declare that Nero deserves to die just for being a monster. And Nero had to run. He had to run from Rome. And it's believed that he killed himself on June 9th in the year 68. He killed himself rather than let the Romans take him alive as a prisoner. Nero got a chance to hear about Jesus. And you know what he said? He said, nope, I don't need that. Jesus is in my way. If I listen to Jesus, I can't do what I want to do. I have to obey Jesus. So I'm going to destroy anybody that tells me about Jesus. And you know what happened? What happened was all the Christians, they just moved somewhere else. And they got to tell more people about Jesus. By trying to destroy the Christians, Nero made them stronger. And at the end, he wound up killing himself. And that was nearly 2,000 years ago. And all that time, he's been in hell. He's been in hell, saying, why didn't I listen to Paul? Why didn't I accept Jesus? So I talked to you a little bit about this on Thursday. What I'm telling you today is, don't be like Nero. Okay? You know the truth, just like Nero knew the truth. And you have a choice, you have a chance to make your life right with God. If you haven't done that, if you're not a child of God, then please come to the church, come to the school. One of us would love to tell you how you can know that you can become a child of God and stop being like Nero. Okay? All right, let's go over our questions for today. Question number 1. Who was the emperor who started the first great persecution of the Christians? And that was Caesar Nero. Nero. Number 2, who was the apostle that he killed? That was the Apostle Paul, the Apostle Pablo. And number 3, how did he die? He killed himself. He killed himself rather than let his enemies kill him. Okay. That's all we have for today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the people of Israel when they decided they were going to stop living under Roman rule. And we'll see how that worked out for them. So, goodbye. And we'll see you on Tuesday rather.